Hi, this is Don Murray. I'm a partner in the New York City criminal defense law firm Shalley & Murray. This brief presentation will address an amazingly common issue that comes up with people who are given desk appearance tickets in New York City. After going through the whole process of arresting you, taking your fingerprints, filling out paperwork, and creating a whole case against you, the nice police officer who arrested you tells you that it's all just going to be dismissed anyway and not to worry. Don't bother getting any legal advice, or rather, don't bother getting any additional legal advice after you listen to his legal advice. Because all you need to do is show up and it'll be dismissed. No worries. So, what are you to make of this? On one hand, this officer just spent around 4 hours or so going through this whole big process to create this whole case against you. On the other hand, he's telling you that without you needing to worry about anything, you should just walk into criminal court and expect everything to be dismissed. Does this seem right to you? I suppose the fact that you're listening to this presentation right now and have therefore been combing the web for information means that you're beginning to wonder whether you ought to take legal advice from the person who arrested you. As well, you should be wondering. Here's the bad news that you need to wrap your head around. You have been arrested. You've been charged with a crime. You're being ordered to appear in criminal court. Does it really make even the smallest sense to you that this set of circumstances is one where you don't need legal advice beyond the legal advice provided to you by the person who arrested you? That's downright silly. Of course you need legal advice. So the question isn't whether you need legal advice, but where will you get the legal advice and assistance that you need? The answer is really pretty simple. If you meet federal poverty guidelines, you will qualify for the free legal services of one of the public defender organizations in New York City. If you don't meet federal poverty guidelines, you will not qualify for free legal services of one of the public defender organizations in New York City. Now, while the bad news is that you've been arrested and are in need of legal advice and assistance, the good news is that in many, if not most, desk appearance ticket situations, the long-term prognosis for your case is probably pretty good if you're looking for a settlement that doesn't involve a criminal conviction. If you're worried that you're going to be dragged off in chains to Rikers Island as a result of your desk appearance ticket, you're probably overreacting a little bit. And this is what I think your friend, the policeman who arrested you, meant when he says something like, your case will just be dismissed. I think the police have a sort of vague sense that the long-term outlook on many of the sort of cases that end up as DATs is really pretty positive. In fact, they may even have a vague notion that many such cases are resolved with adjournments in contemplation of dismissal, which are really kind of delayed dismissals, and that these resolutions can often happen the first time the case is on. And so I think the police generally believe what they are saying when they so optimistically predict the death of your case. But the problem is that the police officer's understanding of the issues in play and of the policies of the district attorney's offices is less than perfect because they are not lawyers who have the experience of having to practice criminal defense in New York City. Therefore, while their vague general impressions may be rooted in some sort of overall general statement of truth, their legal advice cannot and should not be relied upon in any individual case. And while in most cases, their generic ideas about how cases might proceed might turn out to be right, you are not most cases. You are your case and nobody else's. Let me give you an excellent example. I had a client come to me who had been arrested for shoplifting, petty larceny, a small amount of merchandise from a store. This client had never been arrested before and had a good job. It was pretty clearly a peculiar one-off event in her life. The police officer who arrested her told her everything would be fine and the case would be dismissed right away. She didn't need to hire a lawyer. She shouldn't hire a lawyer. And he was probably thinking that she was just going to show up and get an ACD. Now, if my client had accepted this advice and breathed a sigh of relief and simply appeared in court on the day in question and taken an ACD that may well have been offered to her, it would have been the biggest mistake in her life, or among them anyway, and it would have ended her career. You see, what the police officer didn't know, or even if he did know, he didn't understand the significance of, was that my client worked in the banking industry in a job regulated by the FDIC. What the police officer didn't know, because he isn't a lawyer, was that a recent federal court decision determined that New York's ACD procedure on a petty larceny charge qualified as a diversionary program and therefore disqualified someone from certain FDIC-regulated jobs. But because my client decided not to take the legal advice of the nice and well-meaning police officer and came to me instead, I was able to warn her about this issue. At her arraignment, we actually turned down the ACD that was offered to her there and adjourned the case to see about arranging some sort of workaround with the prosecutor's office. As it turns out, they were sympathetic, and we were able to arrange a workaround that we believe will allow my client to put this matter behind her and keep her job and career. There are any number of relatively rare subtleties like this that need to be considered before immediately assuming that your case is as simple as the nice, well-meaning police officer wants you to believe. The odds are, of course, that your situation is probably pretty normal, simple, and straightforward. But you won't know that for sure until you've reviewed your circumstances with a criminal defense lawyer. Other potential areas for concern, depending on the underlying charges, can include those who are not United States citizens, those who are receiving federal student loans, those who have secret or top secret security clearances, those who maintain various professional licenses, people who are in the military, and others. I think most people are reluctant to want to get involved with a lawyer because the assumption is that hiring a lawyer is going to involve enormous legal fees. But that's not likely going to be the case, given that, in fact, most desk appearance tickets are not going to involve an enormous amount of legal heavy lifting. In fact, most DAT cases are subject to reasonable settlement if reasonable settlement is what you're looking for. The legal advice you will need will therefore be more in the nature of helping to make sure that the resolution you achieve will not have some unexpected collateral impact on your life or your future hopes and dreams. The odds are it won't, of course. But the relatively low impact costs associated with obtaining the peace of mind that you're doing the right thing are an investment well worth considering. So don't rely on your well-meaning, nice police arresting officer for your legal advice. Get your legal advice from a criminal defense lawyer. Of course, there are a great many highly skilled criminal defense lawyers in New York City who are capable of handling desk appearance ticket matters. But if you found this presentation and the associated information on the website helpful, and you'd like to contact us, feel free. You can reach Shally and Murray at 718-268-2171. Call, text, or fax us at that one number. Sometimes texting is the fastest way to be in touch with one of our lawyers because we respond oftentimes while we're in court when a voice call would be impossible. Again, the number for Shally and Murray is 718-268-2171. This is Don Murray from Shally and Murray wishing you the best of luck with your desk appearance ticket case. Thank you.